Back again in Nightmareville population. You, me, and monsters who clearly skipped anger management. Welcome to Manhwa Novel Recap, where epic showdowns, shocking reveals, and risky choices keep you hooked. Tap that like button for survival luck and subscribe so you never miss out on the action or laughs. And now, let's jump into the thrilling story. Hesitated, the words catching in his throat, but the silence of the Dream Realm night had a way of bringing out the uncomfortable truths. Our MC, Sunny, ever the pragmatist, couldn't help but probe the silent, silver-haired legacy, Nephis. He'd heard the whispers, the legends of legacies arriving in the spell with a full arsenal, a veritable golden finger of inherited memories that would make any sleeper green with envy. So why, he wondered, did Nephis seem so undergeared? And that, my friends, is where the first crack in the facade of legacy privilege appeared. Nephis revealed that her supposed cheat code arsenal was, in fact, almost entirely gone. Most memories lost when her father passed, others sold off just to keep her family, the once great immortal Flame clan, afloat. Her sword and armor? Those were earned, brutally, in her own first nightmare. This isn't just about losing gear, folks. It's about the erosion of power, the slow death of a once great house. History is written in scars and shadows, and the immortal Flame clan clearly has plenty. But Sunny, ever the astute observer, knew something wasn't adding up. A clan of that stature, surely there were other ways to make coin? And Nephis's response? A simple, chilling, there were other reasons. Oh, my friends, when a legacy says other reasons, you know there's a whole heap of tragic backstory and hidden political intrigue simmering beneath the surface. This isn't the first time the spell has chosen such prey. Then came the question that truly defines our MC. With Cassie safely asleep, Sunny lowered his voice, asking the raw, unvarnished truth that his flaw would never let him lie about. Why are you burdening yourself with her? He expected a lecture on virtue, or maybe some secret OP ability reveal from Cassie that would make her indispensable. What he got instead was a revelation that shattered his worldview. Nephis simply said, "Because I want to. Want to." In the brutal, unforgiving dream realm, where every breath is a struggle for survival, where every decision is a calculation of need, Nephis chose desire. This, my friends, is the true golden finger of the legacies. Not just inherited memories, but an inherited mindset. The sheer audacity to disregard need in favor of something as frivolous as desire. It's a mentality that separates them, a profound difference in perspective forged in a life of privilege, even if that privilege is now a tattered memory. Each class holds its own burden and its own curse. And then, just when Sunny thought his brain couldn't handle any more existential crises, Nephis drops a bomb of ancient lore. Do you know the legend of Odysseus? Our boy Sunny is, understandably, bewildered. But Nephis presses on, her voice ethereal, recounting the tale of the cunning hero who, after surviving countless horrors, abandoned paradise and immortality to return home. Why did he leave? She asked Sunny. Sunny's simple answer, far away from home, seemed to satisfy her, but it wasn't the end. As he drifted to sleep, he heard Nephis's final, barely audible whisper. Odysseus was the first human to break the will of gods. To understand, one must look deeper. This isn't just a bedtime story, folks. This is a profound statement about the very nature of the spell, about the gods that rule this nightmare, and about the kind of strength or perhaps madness it takes to defy them. Is this a hint at Nephis's true purpose, a destiny she carries as a legacy? Come morning, practicalities returned. The plan was simple. Move east, away from the hordes of scavengers Sunny had scouted. But just as they finalized their logical, safe retreat, Cassie jolted awake, her pale face alight with nervous excitement. A vision, she exclaimed, an OP ability reveal that sent chills down their spines. A castle full of people, hope, salvation. And then she pointed. Not east, my friends. Not a logical path to safety. Cassie's delicate finger, guided by her prophetic awakened power, pointed confidently west, directly into the heart of the monsters. What do you think, lore keepers? Is Cassie's vision a true path to salvation, or a trap laid by the nightmare itself? The smile dissolved from Cassie's face, a sudden confusion clouding her features. She felt the tension, the shift in the air. What's wrong?" she asked. The silence, a heavy blanket. Sunny's sigh was audible, a clear sign this wasn't good. "That direction is the one we wanted to avoid. That's where I came from yesterday. There's a lot of scavengers down there." Going west. A path Sunny already knows is crawling with the nightmares they barely survived yesterday. This isn't just a detour. This is a high-stakes gamble. But Nephis, ever the enigma, just listened, then asked the crucial question, "Tell us more about the castle." And Cassie delivered. A vast, ruined city, impenetrable walls, monsters everywhere except inside the magnificent castle on a central hill. Inside? Awakened, safety, food, laughter. Sounds like the ultimate safe zone, the golden ticket, the cheat skill in a world designed to kill you. It's the dream. It's the goal. But here's the kicker. The survival analyst in me immediately red-flagged this, Cassie said. Sunny leads her through the gates, just the two of them. "No, Nephis. Is this a prophetic glimpse into future party dynamics? A subtle hint of future betrayals, or just a dream's natural tunnel vision? Because in these environments, trusting your team is everything. A crack in that foundation? Fatal." Sunny caught it too, immediately glancing at Nephis, but Changing Star remained as unreadable as ever. After a moment, she just nodded. "Okay, then we will go west." That was a high-risk move, but sometimes risk is the only way out. And then, folks, the mind-blowing revelation that almost made Sunny's brain short-circuit. Remember Nephis? The stoic, Ice Queen protagonist material? Changing Star? The one who seemed to exist on a different plane, cool, distant, effortlessly intimidating. Turns out she's not aloof. She's just painfully, ridiculously awkward. Like, socially inept to a degree that it's hilarious if it wasn't so critical in a life-or-death scenario. She doesn't have feelings? No, she's just terrible at emoting them. She's not mysterious. She's just shy and bad at talking. This is a game changer. Imagine thinking your OP party member is a calculating mastermind, only to find out they're basically a socially anxious super soldier. It adds a whole new layer of psychological strain to the group dynamic. How do you communicate vital information when your leader can barely string a sentence together without sounding like a robot? Despite this baffling discovery, the mission continued. In the gray light of morning, they abandoned their temporary camp and ventured west, retracing Sunny's steps into the known danger. Their strategy? Classic survival formation. Nephis up front, blade ready. Sunny, tethered to Cassie by that golden rope guiding her. But the real MVP, the unsung hero, is Sunny's Shaodw. This thing is the ultimate scout, the silent sentinel, the advanced recon unit that every survivor wishes they had. Every step could be fatal, and that Shaodw is their early warning system. The labyrinth was just as before, a tangled mess of crimson coral blades and black mud. Confusing, endless, and terrifying. And just like that, the West is safe. Narrative gets face-slapped. The Shaodw, doing its job, immediately stumbles onto a mass of hulking, hungry scavengers. Because rule 1 of survival, never trust comfort. Comfort kills. So, with the promise of a safe haven ahead but a known death trap beneath their feet, what's their next move? Will Cassie's vision be their salvation, or their ultimate trap? "Halt," Sunny whispers, and just like that, the tension ratchets up to 11. This isn't a drill, people. This is survival stripped to the bone. Right off the bat, Nephis, our resident combat monster, has her sword out, scanning the terrain. Meanwhile, Cassie, she freezes. A classic case of adrenaline lockup when faced with the unknown. Sunny counts them. 6 scavengers, and these aren't the mangled, half-dead ones he fought before. These are the real deal. Their wounds aren't pronounced, meaning they're fresh, they're strong, and they're moving in. Their first move, circle around. Smart. Rule mine, never trust comfort. Comfort kills. They're not looking for a fight they can't win. They're conserving resources, their lives. But here's the kicker. This avoidance strategy is eating up their most precious resource, time. They're not getting closer to safety. They're effectively stuck in a deadly crimson labyrinth, playing a game of cosmic hide-and-seek. Sunny hits the wall. We can't go on like that. He's right. The sun's dropping, and the night belongs to the monsters. Cassie suggests turning back. A reasonable, fear-driven suggestion. But Nephis, ever the pragmatist, cuts straight to the chase. It will only get harder tomorrow. Yeah, no kidding. More monsters, less stamina, dwindling hope. So, what's the play? Fight. This is where Nephis shows why she's the one calling the shots. She's not reckless, she's calculating. Avoid large groups, cut down smaller ones. This isn't a suicide mission, it's a surgical strike. And then, the cheat code drops. Nephis asks Sunny if he studied the dead scavenger. He didn't. Rookie mistake, Sunny. This is Rule 2. Always learn from your past encounters. Every piece of intel is a lifeline. But Nephis has the intel. The weak points. First, the joints. Hit him there, slow him down. Second, the torso-carapace connection. Big damage, but not a kill shot. And then, the OP weak point. A discolored concave cavity on the back, right where their eyes are. Direct brain hit. One-shot kill. This is where the plan gets spicy. Nephis will be the bait. She'll draw its attention, force it to turn, expose that juicy weak spot. Sunny? He's the finisher. This is a high-risk move, but sometimes risk is the only way out. Sunny, ever the realist, what if there's two of them? Nephis's legendary reply, don't die. That, my friends, is the kind of brutal, no-nonsense advice you learn to appreciate when every breath could be your last. The trap is set. They find a clearing. Nephis guides Cassie to safety, ensuring the vulnerable aren't directly in the line of fire. Good resource management. Sunny melts into the shadows, his shadow lantern ability ready. Nephis stands in the center of the clearing, cool as a cucumber, sword pointed casually down. Her body language screams, "Come at me, bro!" The scavenger barrels in. And Nephis? She dances, dodges, deflects, moves like a ghost. She slices at a joint, a tactical move to slow it, but not the kill. She's playing for position. And then, the moment. Nephis forces the turn. The scavenger's back is exposed. Sunny, without hesitation, launches himself. This isn't about fear anymore, it's about execution. His azure blade, that dark, shadowy weapon, sinks right into that weak spot. A shudder, a collapse. Just like that, it's over. That easy? Sunny's shocked. He just pulled off an impossible kill against a superior foe. The spell confirms it. Awakened beast, carapace scavenger, down. And the kicker? Sunny's shadow grows stronger. That's the payoff. That's the golden finger moment. What do you think? Was this a one-off stroke of luck? Or have Nephis and Sunny just unlocked the secret to surviving the impossible? Sprawled in the mud, staring at the sky. A 10-second fight. 0 casualties for our heroes. 1 very dead scavenger. Sounds like a walk in the park, right? Wrong. In the dream realm, a walk in the park usually ends with you becoming monster chow. So why was this so easy? Because Sunny wasn't alone. He clocks his shadow fragments, a measly 16. Every single one is a lifeline in this nightmare, a resource hoarded like gold. He's the one who dealt the final blow, but Nephis did the heavy lifting. This forces a brutal truth on him, a lesson Master Jet tried to drill in. You can't survive out here alone. For a lone wolf like Sunny, who prides himself on self-sufficiency, this is a gut punch. But the dream realm doesn't care about your philosophy. It cares about survival. And sometimes, strength means knowing when to lean on someone else. Rule 1, never trust comfort. Comfort kills. But in this hellscape, a reliable ally? That's as close to comfort as you're gonna get. Nephis, meanwhile, is all business. No pockets, so Sunny gets the soul shard. But the real tactical brilliance comes out later. She's not just a powerhouse, she's a pragmatic leader. They retrieve Cassie, the blind girl. Her presence adds layers to the psychological strain. Sunny is hit with a flashback to his little sister. In this world, sentimentality is a luxury you can't afford, yet it keeps creeping in. He shoves it down. This is survival stripped to the bone. The rest of the day becomes a masterclass in coordinated hunting. Nephis plays the bait, an absurdly high-risk move that only someone with her almost OP level of combat intuition could pull off. She's dancing around these awakened beasts, manipulating them with pure skill, No aspect ability needed. It's like watching an MC with a cheat code, except her cheat code is sheer unadulterated talent. Sunny, hidden in the shadows, is the finisher, delivering precise, fatal blows. His shadow acts as their scouting drone, giving them the intel to ambush effectively. This isn't just brute force. This is tactical decision-making at its peak. They bag 3 more scavengers, 8 fragments in a day. That's solid. But then comes the real grind, climbing a 200-meter headless knight statue. With Cassie in tow, this isn't just a climb, it's a torturous, muscle-burning ordeal. Every meter gained is a victory against exhaustion, against the creeping darkness and the rising tide of the dark waters below. His odds? Slim. But he's still standing. As night falls, they're safe, gnawing on dried meat. Time to divvy up the spoils. 4 soul shards. Nephis splits them evenly, 2 for Sunny, 2 for her. Then she gives one of hers to Cassie. Fair. But Sunny does something unexpected. He pushes his 3 shards back to Nephis. He's not being altruistic. This is a calculated risk, a long-term play. He recognizes Nephis is the main fighting force, the group's MVP. The stronger she gets, the better their chances of survival. And what does he want in return for these precious resources? Combat training. He's sacrificing immediate power-ups for the ultimate cheat skill, learning how to actually fight from a master. Is Sunny making the right call? Investing in the team's powerhouse over his own immediate gains? He's just bagged a sweet deal, trading a couple of soul shards to Nephis, the undisputed queen of the I Don't Need Your Kindnesses club, for some combat lessons. Our boy Sunny thinks he's made a great impression, a real masterclass in subtle manipulation. But under her gaze, he's just another piece on a chessboard being evaluated for his worth. And Nephis, with her changing star insight, she sees it all. His current level, his potential, probably even what he had for breakfast last Tuesday. And get this, she says, okay, just like that. No fanfare, no dramatic pronouncements. Sunny's all smiles, patting himself on the back for a deal well struck, thinking he's got this whole playing nice thing down. He asks when they start. Her answer? Now. Even as the sun dips below the horizon. Because for Nephis, there's no time like the present to get down to the gritty, uncomfortable truth of things. She tells them, Sunny and Cassie, who's also roped into this impromptu night class, that mastery of combat is split into 2, body and mind. The body, that's the simple part, repetition, muscle memory, making technique and instinct. But here's the kicker, 1,000 hours of training? Useless compared to one real fight. One real fight. That's a direct face slap to every pampered legacy student out there who thinks their fancy academy training means squat. And suddenly you're left wondering, just what kind of life has Nephis led to have that kind of battle experience at 18? She's not just a princess, she's a living, breathing nightmare of combat experience. But then, the mind. Ah, the mind. That's where the true battle happens, she says. The outcome decided before a single muscle twitches. And to master the mind, you need to understand the essence of combat. She throws the question at them, what is that essence? Cassie, ever the optimist, says, victory. Sunny, pragmatic as always, goes with survival. And Nephis, bless her cold, calculating heart, shakes her head. Murder. Cassie flinches. Sunny frowns. But Nephis? She's just delivering the gospel according to the wasteland. At the core of it, there is only this. You are trying to kill your opponent, and they are trying to kill you. In the end, one of you will be killed, and the other one will be the killer. Everything else is just noise. Style, weapons, reason, intent? Irrelevant. The only thing that matters? Being the last one standing. Every action in combat serves one purpose, kill the enemy or prevent them from killing you. Now, for anyone else, that might be a horrifying revelation. But for our boy Sunny, that truth, that brutal, unvarnished clarity, it sinks deep. It resonates. Because his entire life, it's been nothing but a constant battle for survival. Someone always wins, someone always loses. The former lives, the latter, well, who cares? He lies there, staring into the darkness, processing, repetition, experience, clarity. The 3 keys to becoming a fearsome warrior. And that last one, the cold will to kill? It's not just a concept for him, it's his entire history. He used to think coming to the academy meant escaping that constant struggle. But now, it just feels like he's traded one battlefield for another. But then, the truly chilling thought settles in. What if this isn't a curse? What if, unlike all those sheltered legacies, he's actually perfectly suited for this brutal existence? What if his grim past is his ultimate cheat skill? He falls asleep with that unsettling thought hanging in the air, only to be jolted awake by a piercing scream in the early morning. What do you think happened out there? He was on his feet before his eyes even fully opened. Instinct. Pure, unadulterated survival instinct. Sunny wasn't just waking up, he was activating. Azure blade already in hand, Shaodw hovering like a loyal, deadly guardian, ready to weaponize or to shield. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a combat-ready wake-up. No fumbling for your phone, just immediate threat assessment. But the threat wasn't what he expected. Not the giant tentacles, not the lurking horrors of the deep. No, the real danger was a psychological one, manifesting in the most terrifying way for a blind individual, disorientation. Cassie, stumbling at the very edge of their precarious platform, teetering on the brink of a plunge into the abyss. Now, here's a critical moment. Every survival guide screams, assess the situation, identify the threat before you move. But Sunny, he just ran. An uncharacteristic, completely irrational lunge, especially when Nephis was nearby, sword poised, ready to strike at any sudden movement. This was a high-risk move, but sometimes risk is the only way out. It's the human element overriding the cold, hard logic of survival. He didn't know what scared Cassie, didn't know if some invisible horror was reaching for them, but he acted, and it paid off. He got her, barely. The immediate crisis averted. The real mystery began. Cassie was terrified, trembling, pointing down into the darkness, muttering about the head. A vision? A glimpse of a past horror that only she could see. This introduces a whole new layer of psychological warfare. How do you fight a nightmare you can't even perceive? This isn't about physical combat anymore. It's about managing trauma, a resource drain on the entire group. Nephis, ever the pragmatist, was flustered for a moment, then quickly shifted gears. She's got that tough love leadership style down. While Sunny was still trying to soothe Cassie, Changing Star made a cold, hard assessment. Cassie is strong, and Sunny scoffed, thinking of her fragility. But this is where the seasoned survivor knows strength isn't just about swinging a sword. It's about enduring, about maintaining sanity despite a debilitating flaw. Cassie has a different kind of combat prowess, resilience. She's still standing. Then, the focus shifts from psychological survival to physical mastery. Nephis pulls out her elegant longsword, contrasts it with Sunny's azure blade, and begins the lesson. This isn't about flashy moves, it's about fundamentals, leverage, full body power. Not just hands, but feet, hips, core. This is the unglamorous, repetitive grind that separates the survivors from the casualties. And then comes the classic Nephis mic drop. Now, do it 1,000 more times. Sunny's smile froze. 1,000. Just only 1,000. This is the brutal reality of skill acquisition in a death world. There are no shortcuts, no cheat skills, just endless, mind-numbing repetition. Every single strike, building muscle memory, reinforcing technique. This is survival stripped to the bone. It's about making every movement automatic, so when the real threat emerges, you don't have to think, you just do. It's about turning hours of boring practice into seconds of life-saving reaction. Because in this nightmare, repetition isn't just practice. It's clarity. It's experience. It's the only way to ensure you're ready for whatever horror emerges from the dark next. So, how much boring practice do you think it takes to truly master a skill in a life-or-death scenario? With pretty much every muscle in his body screaming, Sunny collapsed. You know the drill. Another day, another beatdown. He looked at Cassie, trying to sound like he wasn't about to flatline himself. Cassie? You good? She just nodded, slowly, like her entire being was still reeling from a gut punch. Pale face, dazed eyes. She wasn't fine. Nobody ever is, not really. Sunny, the man of few words and even fewer social graces, was stuck. He looked at Nephis, probably wishing for some of her stoic wisdom, or at least a distraction. The irony, right? Our guy, the emotionally stunted MC, is the most sociable one in the group. What a joke. Then Cassie gasped, like she'd just woken up from a different kind of nightmare. Oh, water. Yes, of course. She summoned that bottomless bottle, that cheat item everyone wishes they had. After they all drank, Sunny, ever the master of comfort, awkwardly patted her shoulder. Everything's fine. You had another vision? You can tell us. If you want. She hesitated, then mumbled, I don't know, maybe it was just a nightmare. A nightmare? In the dream realm? Yeah, no. People don't dream here. This isn't your cozy bed back home. This is where the real nightmares live. But she couldn't remember much, just fragments. So Sunny, trying to be gentle, pushed, Just tell us what you remember. Maybe we can piece this hell together. And that's when it started. The real horror show. She saw a boundless darkness, locked behind 7 seals. Something vast, churning, something that would steal your sanity if you dared look directly at it. One by one, those seals broke. All 7 of them. And then her mind shattered. 1,000 shards, each reflecting pure terror. She saw the human castle again, but this time it was night. A lonely star burning in a black sky. Then the castle was consumed by fire, rivers of blood flowing down its halls. A corpse in golden armor on a throne. A woman with a bronze spear drowning in a tide of monsters. An archer trying to pierce the falling sky. And then the crescendo. A colossal, terrifying crimson spire. At its base, 7 severed heads guarding 7 locks, and at the top, a dying angel being consumed by hungry shadows. When the angel bled, she felt something precious ripped away from her, something indescribable. Then sorrow, pain, rage. So much of it that what little sanity she had left just vanished, and she woke up, or thought she did. Nephis and Sunny were silent. What do you even say to that? This wasn't some clear tactical vision like before. This was a charlatan's prophecy. Pure, unadulterated psychological torment. Sunny, trying to cling to some semblance of normal, suggested, Maybe it was just a nightmare. Your others weren't like this, right? She shook her head. He tried to rationalize it. People don't dream here, but you do. Maybe it's a side effect. She looked at him, a flicker of relief in her broken eyes. You really think so? He hesitated. Why not? It's a possibility. Inwardly, he felt it too. The chill. A dying angel consumed by shadows. That's not just a bad dream. That's a premonition of pure, unadulterated suffering. Stay away from angels, he thought. What has my life come to when that's not even a crazy thought anymore? Survival's not living. It's enduring. They moved on, because what else can you do? They found themselves on the western edge of the platform, watching the scavengers below. Sunny's shadow, that loyal piece of his soul, was scouting. Always this many? Nephis asked. No, Sunny said. They're almost done with the carcass. Won't last till nightfall. That meant trouble. Thousands of these things, roaming the labyrinth, hunting. They had to leave today, put distance between themselves and the horde. But without a scouted path, they could blunder into something worse. Both options sucked. Both were a roll of the dice in a game where the house always wins. Nephis, always the pragmatist, made the call, I don't want Cassie spending another night here. Let's leave now. Sunny was about to offer his 2 cents, but then, a commotion below. Down in the disappearing sea, amidst the bones of that colossal shark-like monster, something was shimmering in the mud. 2 of them. Massive, luminescent crystals. Sunny's eyes widened. Are those? Yes. Shards of 2 transcendent soul cores. 2 of them. Transcendent. That's a golden finger if there ever was one, but the kind that comes with a price tag written in blood. The greed hit him first, hard, then the fear. That shark, it wasn't just a big monster, it was a corrupted devil. A single one of those things could wipe out an entire city. He was closer to death that first night than he ever knew. Another scar. It never ends. Should we? He started. Wait and listen. Nephis cut him off. They listened. the distant clamor of the scavengers. But there was a disharmony now, a different sound. Then Nephis stiffened. "There!" she pointed. Two massive shadows emerged from a wide passage, and then the things casting them appeared. Sunny gulped. These weren't just scavengers, they were monsters. 3 meters tall, black and scarlet carapace like armor drenched in old blood. Spikes jutting out. And instead of pincers, their upper arms ended in long, curved, terrifying bone scythes. Cold sweat. "What the hell are those things?" Nephis ever so calmly said. "Monsters, I guess." "See, nightmare creatures with one soul core? Those are beasts. Dangerous but mindless. 2 cores, those are monsters. More devastating. They have a rudimentary, warped intelligence. This was the next evolution. The real monsters. And these 2 were bigger, deadlier versions of the scavengers. They were the ones you carry inside. They watched as the 2 new abominations approached the carcass. The regular scavengers scattered, terrified. Those 2 slow were casually cut apart. Rivers of blue blood. What were they doing? Were they going to absorb the shards? No, they each took a shard. But instead of absorbing them, they just turned around and carried the precious crystals away. The scavengers, hungry, desperate, followed. Sunny blinked. He looked at Nephis. "Do we still leave now?" Changing Star frowned, that rare hesitation on her face. Then she shook her head. "No, we'll go tomorrow." She turned west, watching the retreating horrors. Then the order. Cold, calculated, terrifying. "Get your Shaodw to follow these 2 back." What do you think they're doing with those shards? What kind of intelligence are we really dealing with here? His shadow fragments, absorbed, gave him a sliver more range with shadow control. A sliver. Not enough to truly scout the labyrinth, just enough to get a general direction, west. Limited intel, flying blind with a compass that only points vaguely. But hey, it's something. In this hellscape, any intel, no matter how sparse, is a lifeline. With nothing else to do, Sunny did the smart thing. He recovered. Rule pour nays, never trust comfort. Comfort kills. But sometimes resting is the only tactical move. He needed every ounce of his energy for what was coming. Lying there, staring at a sky that refused to tell him anything, Cassie hit him with the existential dread. Do you think we'll be able to return home?" Classic. When the pressure's on, the mind goes to what it misses. Sunny, ever the pragmatic survivor, gave her a blunt, "Sure." And when she pressed why, he pointed at Nephis. His justification? They're a better duo of sleepers than anyone else she could have found. Talk about some serious MC bravado, right? He's basically saying, "Yeah, we're the cheat code, you just don't know it yet." And, of course, Cassie, with a perfect comedic timing, face-slapped him with the truth. "You were in the second-to-last place." Ah, the humiliation. But Sunny, ever the quick thinker, spun it. Only because someone smart told me to keep a low profile. Then, with a grin, he threw out, "Much higher. Third to last, at least. That's how you turn a burn into a laugh." And that laugh? Cassie's melodic giggles. A sound he hadn't heard since this nightmare began. A precious resource in itself. Hope, mirth, a flicker of humanity. But the moment of levity quickly turned somber. She missed her family. And Sunny? He had nothing to miss. No home, no family, he remembered. It's a stark reminder of his upbringing, of why he's so adept at survival. When you have nothing to lose, every choice is simpler. He's a survivor stripped to the bone, and it shows. Evening fell, and the grind continued. Nephis put him through his 1,000 strikes again. No slacking. Ever. Then, the grim reality of their situation, the last strips of dried scavenger meat. Resource scarcity is hitting hard. And the vigilance? Taking turns sleeping, because Rule 1 still applies. Thankfully, the night passed without incident, but dawn brought a new level of terror. As the dark sea receded, Nephis laid out the new terms of engagement. Today will be different. More scavengers, no ambushes, no avoiding multiple fights. This is a significant escalation of threat. Her contingency plan? Simple, brutal, and effective. Sunny's job is to get Cassie out. Use narrow passages. If they get separated, go to the high point. Don't wait for her. That's the kind of order that chills you to the bone. It screams, "I might not make it, but you must. A true leader prioritizing the mission over her own life. They descended, and the labyrinth swallowed them. Sunny, now the scout and navigator, was feeling the psychological strain of constant course correction, his brain boiling from the impossible choices. Every passage, every turn, a potential death trap, and then the inevitable, trapped. A large group of scavengers at their heels, 2 more blocking the path ahead. No way out. Nephis, ever the tactical genius, made the call, "If there's only 2, we can take them." Sunny's gut churned. He'd only practiced for a day. Fighting 2? Without an ambush setup? Her plan was simple, and terrifyingly risky. She attacks first, drawing aggro. Sunny follows in the shadows, finishes one off once they turn. Then they team up on the second. It all hinged on Nephis surviving the initial onslaught of 2 monstrosities. Sunny remembered Cassie's first vision. Nephis wasn't there. The odds? Slim. But what other choice did they have? This is survival stripped to the bone. He gritted his teeth. All right. Nephis summoned her sword. And then she stepped forward. What do you think is going through Sunny's mind right now? Receded forward, leaving Cassie safely tucked away in their makeshift hiding spot. Smart move, prioritizing asset protection before engaging. And then, there they were. 2 hulking scavengers in the distance. Nephis, ever the one for dramatic entrances, didn't even break stride. A quick keep-up, and she was off. Like a sprinter at the gun, she lunged. My goodness, her speed! Changing Star is practically a blur, an arrow loosed from a bow. She's not just fast, she's committing to a direct head-on charge. She's trying to force the engagement on her terms, denying the monsters any time to react. Meanwhile, our boy Sunny is left in the dust, diving into the shadows. He's running as fast as he can, but the gap is widening. Classic MC struggle, feeling like he's always playing catch-up. The scavengers barely registered her before Nephis was on them. Madness in their eyes, mandibles dripping, they charged. And here's the kicker. Nephis didn't slow down. She looked like she was planning to ram them. But no, this is Changing Star we're talking about. At the last possible second, she drops, slides through the mud between their terrifying pincers, and uses her sword to arrest her momentum. That's not just skill. That's ice-cold precision under pressure. One wrong step here means death. It bought her precious seconds, getting her past their initial, most dangerous attack. While Nephis was busy performing acrobatics, Sunny finally got his chance. The second scavenger was momentarily caught off guard, trying to turn. Sunny, leveraging the environment, jumps from a coral protrusion, aiming for that juicy soft spot on its back. His shadow already wrapped around the azure blade. This is the play. Get in, get the kill, support the team. But then the monster twitches. The blade, instead of sinking into that vulnerable joint, skitters off its adamantine carapace. A clean miss. Instead of a decisive blow, Sunny ends up hugging the monstrous thing from behind, completely exposed. Talk about a tactical faceplant. He gets violently thrown, slamming into the wall, disoriented, breath knocked out. Not good at all. Instinct saves him as he rolls, a pincer tearing past where he just was. He's lifted, then thrown again, but this time he's back. Sword up, just like Nephis taught him. The scavenger is charging, eyes burning. This is it. This is the moment. And what does Sunny do? Every fiber of his being screams, retreat, dodge, run away. But he remembers. Repetition, experience. And then, against all common sense, he jumps forward. He closes the distance, forcing the monster's pincers to clash uselessly behind him. This is brilliant. His sword has a shorter reach, so he has to get close to fight. He takes away the scavenger's advantage, forcing it into a close-quarters brawl where he can strike. He flows into motion, his muscles remembering thousands of practice swings. The azure blade, enhanced by his shadow, slices down, and boom! It cleaves right through a front leg joint. Blue blood sprays. That's efficiency over bravado right there. The scavenger stumbles, losing balance. And then, a stroke of pure, unadulterated luck, its other front leg slips in the mud. The monster careens forward, practically impaling itself on Sunny's waiting azure blade. He just pushes it into its mouth, and the deed is done. The massive creature convulses, then falls still. That's how you leverage every advantage, even the environment and the enemy's own momentum. Sunny is bleeding, but alive. And then, the spell talks. He's slain an awakened beast, his shadow grows stronger. But there's more. Something he missed in the heat of the moment. He pulls his blade free and rushes to help Nephis, but she's already finished her fight, too. Her scavenger is also dead, spine severed. She is an absolute beast. But then, an awkward moment. Nephis is catching her breath, a gash on her shoulder. And her top, well, it came undone. Sunny flinches, turns away so fast his own shadow looks away. It's a hilarious, if embarrassing, moment of humanity amidst the brutal survival. After that, shall we say brief interruption, Nephis checks Sunny's head wound. Nothing serious. And then she asks if he heard the memory notification. He hadn't, too focused on not dying. But when he checks, his eyes go wide. It's not a new memory, it's a new category. Echoes. And there it is, Carapace Scavenger. What does this mean? Is this a new type of power-up? Is this a golden finger in the making? What kind of strategic implications does this echo system hold for Sunny? An echo. Not just a reward, not just some rare loot drop, but a tactical nuclear bomb dropped right into Sunny's lap. This isn't your average dungeon crawl prize, folks. We're talking an extremely rare, unbelievably valuable asset that instantly shifts the survival calculus. Think of it, a carapace scavenger, a hulking, armored beast with an awakened core, mind you. Our boy Sunny is just a dreamer, and he suddenly got a high-tier tank on a leash. That's a cheat skill, a golden finger, a pure, unadulterated slice of OP-ness right there. He dives into his sea of soul, because of course he does. 3 memories now, orbiting that lonely black sun, but his focus is all on the new, massive sphere of light. It descends, the radiance fades, and there it is, a carapace scavenger, docile, waiting. Strong, armored, a cursed soldier now his to command. His grin? Absolutely earned. But wait, there's a new twist, because this is Sunny, and nothing is ever simple. The moment his palm brushes the chitin, a prompt pops up. Transform Echo into a shadow? Now, if you've been following along, you know his aspect is unique, tied to that mysterious shadow core and those fragments. This is a new variable, a potential game changer within a game changer. Is it a buff? A new form? An entirely different kind of summon? He's got 24 out of 100 shadow fragments, not enough to make the jump, which is probably for the best. Rule porn, never gamble on an unknown when your life's on the line, especially when you don't even have the chips. He shelves the mystery for later, a wise tactical retreat from an informational void. Back in the grim reality, Nephis and Cassie are looking on. I got an echo, he says, with the kind of casual swagger that only comes after a near-death experience. And then, the immediate, brilliant tactical deployment. The scavenger isn't just a combat beast, it's a taxi. They slap some makeshift reins on it, help Cassie climb aboard, and suddenly, their speed skyrockets. Mobility, folks, is survival stripped to the bone. Every step counts. Every wasted breath could be fatal, and this move just bought them precious time and conserved vital stamina. For a moment, just a fleeting, dangerous moment, Sunny feels calm. That's when you know the next nightmare is about to drop. The wind picks up. Cassie, with her heightened senses, asks them to stop. It's murmuring, she whispers, ear to the ground. And then, the first drop. He looks up. Dark, stormy clouds gathering with unnatural speed. They're going to cover the sun. And when that happens, when the light fades, what's left for our Shadow Sunny? What's his next move in this darkening nightmare? We need to move, now. As Nephis barked the command, Sunny was already grabbing Cassie, his face pale as a ghost, a look of sheer panic in his eyes. You could just feel the urgency, folks, because our MC knew what was coming before anyone else. He was practically screaming, now! Help me get her back on the scavenger. And Nephis, ever the pragmatist, just had to glance at the sky. Her expression darkened because, oh yeah, the girl who sees the future, the changing star, she knew. She confirmed it with a heavy voice. A storm is coming. Meanwhile, Sunny, ever the clever one, sent his shadow scouting ahead, trying to gauge just how far those cliffs were. Turns out, it was still a considerable distance. Going back? Suicide. So, he had to ask the million-dollar question. Do you think we can make it? Nephis just scowled. If we take the most direct route, maybe. And then, the real kicker? What about the monsters? Her answer, a simple, teeth-gritting, we'll have to cut through. Now, you know our Sunny. He's thinking, that's it? That's the plan? Just cut through? He was probably trying to cook up some elaborate, sneaky cheat skill to avoid the inevitable carnage, but Nephis wasn't having it. She just snapped, "What are you waiting for? Run!" And run they did. Heavy drops started falling, winds howling, mud and seaweed flying. The sunlight just died, plunging the labyrinth into a cold twilight. Our little group, with Sunny leading the charge, Nephis a step behind, and the scavenger carrying Cassie stomping through the mud, they were moving like their lives depended on it. Because, let's be real, it absolutely did. This wasn't about conserving energy, it was about full-throttle, no-holds-barred sprint to survival. Every second counted. What's wild, though, is that the labyrinth's monstrous inhabitants weren't even their biggest problem. The scavengers were just as panicked as our heroes, trying to burrow or hide. A quick flash of a sword, a threatening pincer, and these usually aggressive beasts just noped out. Talk about a lucky break. Sometimes, even the monstrous parts of the world just want to survive the storm, too. But the storm? It was faster. The rain turned into a pelting downpour, winds strong enough to knock them off balance, visibility dropping to zero. And then, bam! A blinding bolt of lightning, followed by a thunderclap that shook the very ground. Sunny falls, tries to get up, falls again. And in that terrifying, dark chaos, Nephis grabs him, screaming, "Don't stop, run!" Even in the midst of true pandemonium, that fire in her spirit just shines through, doesn't it? The water started rising. First shins, then knees, then waist. The sea was coming back, swallowing their path, making every step a monumental effort. But just when hope felt like it was slipping, a flash of lightning revealed it, a dark mass of stone. They had made it to the cliffs. Almost simultaneously, a terrible rumbling confirmed their worst fears. A colossal, crushing torrent of black water, a literal wall of doom, was rushing through the crimson forest. We even saw a poor, late scavenger get caught, its unbreakable carapace bursting open like a rotten egg. Talk about a brutal face slap from the universe. "Time is up, start climbing," Sunny yelled, but Nephis was already pulling him, commanding him to dismiss his echo. Our boy Sunny didn't even know if the scavenger could climb, but it didn't matter. Cassie couldn't hold on anyway. So, he helped her down, and the beast was sent back to the Sea of Soul. And here's where Nephis truly shines. She lowered herself, let Cassie climb onto her back, then tied them together with that incredible golden rope of hers. Talk about an OP ability. She didn't hesitate, just gritted her teeth and started scaling the wet, treacherous rocks. They were literally racing against the black torrent. "Brace!" Sunny screamed, and moments later, that wall of dark water slammed into the rocks just meters below them. The whole cliff shuddered. Boulders tumbled, but somehow, miraculously, all three of them were still alive. But surviving that first wave wasn't the end. The black water kept rising, terrifyingly fast, threatening to swallow them whole. They had to keep climbing, faster than the surging sea itself. Sunny was tearing his skin on sharp rocks, every muscle screaming. If it wasn't for his shadow wrapped tightly around him, he'd be gone. Even with its help, the water was catching up. Damn it all! He cursed, but no matter how hard he tried, the water was at his feet, then his legs, then his torso. And then, that heart-stopping moment. His fingers slipped. The current too strong. He was pushed away like a weightless toy, losing all purchase. No. But just as despair tried to claim him, a golden rope, that beautiful golden finger of Nephis, fell into the water. Sunny grabbed it, held on with every fiber of his being, and was pulled back to the cliff face. Not wasting a single precious second, he resumed climbing, powered by that second chance. A strong hand, Nephis's, grabbed him from above, dragging his body over the edge. He fell to the ground, gasping, looking at Nephis beside him, equally drained. Cassie nearby. They wanted to laugh, but they had no strength left. They survived. Sometimes surviving isn't enough. Sometimes you have to live for more than that. Even in the dark, there's still a way forward. Hope isn't naive. It's the first step toward change. And seeing them, battered and exhausted, but still breathing, it's a powerful reminder that every step forward matters. The darkness isn't the end of the story. You fight because life is worth the pain. What do you think, survivors? Was this their closest call yet? For a few minutes, Sunny just lay there, letting the rain wash over him. Exhausted, battered, but still breathing. That's survival stripped to the bone. You take every moment of peace you can get, because Rule 1, never trust comfort. Comfort kills. And sure enough, that eerie silence, broken only by the storm, was a lie. His shadow, that ever-present silent alarm bell, his ultimate golden finger, started screaming. Not a sound, mind you, but a gut feeling. A persistent, nagging sense that something was fundamentally wrong. Even utterly spent, the MC couldn't ignore it. That's a sign of a true survivor. You listen to the whispers, even when your body screams for rest. He dragged himself up, and Nephis and Cassie immediately tensed. Their radar was good, but Sunny's was on another level thanks to his unique attribute. He scanned the rocky island, trying to pinpoint the threat. Nothing. The cliffs were just cliffs. The boulders were just boulders. Then a lightning bolt ripped through the sky, momentarily turning night into day. And just like that, the entire landscape shifted. Those boulders? Those irregularly shaped black masses that dotted the terrain? They weren't rocks at all. They were scavengers, lying motionless, silently, all around them. Talk about a gut punch. The hair on Sunny's neck didn't just stand up, it saluted. 7, no, 8 hulking nightmare creatures, camouflaged perfectly in the dark and the storm. This wasn't a refuge. This was a death trap. His face went ashen, and the subtle shift was enough for Nephis to tense. His command? Don't speak, don't move, just stay where you are. That's the voice of someone who just stared into the abyss, and realized the abyss was already staring back with 8 sets of eyes. Panic, absolute terror threatened to swamp him. But this MC, he's built different. He closed his eyes, took a breath, and dug deep. There are no hopeless situations. Every problem has a solution. That's a mantra for the damned, and he clung to it. He started analyzing. The darkness? His territory. The storm's clamor? Perfect sound cover? The distance between the scavengers? Opportunity. He realized this was it. His chance to become the silent assassin he'd always envisioned. This was his natural element. A high-risk move, absolutely. But sometimes, risk is the only way out. He looked at Nephis and Cassie, the weight of their lives in his hands, and whispered, "I'll take care of this." Then, using his OP ability, he seemed to simply dissolve into the shadows, a ghost in the storm. He moved with chilling precision, every step measured, every breath controlled. He picked the furthest target, a hulking silhouette, and snaked around it. The beast was oblivious. Sunny, the silent hunter, lunged. The azure blade was a dark whisper in his hand, plunging into the scavenger's weak point, piercing chitin, destroying its brain. The quiet crack of carapace was instantly swallowed by the downpour. It was done. 1 down, 7 to go. A sense of triumph swelled in his chest, but he ruthlessly suppressed it. No time for celebration. But then, it hit him. A chilling, fundamental wrongness. The spell was silent. No announcement, no kill count, no shadow fragments, nothing. His skin crawled. He turned back to the fallen scavenger. It was dead, certainly. But then he saw it. Something he'd missed in the adrenaline of the kill. And when he did, his face went from ashen to bone white. What could have possibly made this silent kill so terrifying? The scavenger was dead. Not by Sunny's hand, of course. That would imply he actually achieved something, rather than just stumbling upon another's work. No, this one was already a mangled mess, its unbreakable carapace cut open like a tin can, oozing azure blood into the storm. A perfect ambush, wasted on something already deceased. The ultimate irony. He might have felt awkward, but the fear of whatever did this quickly replaced any fleeting embarrassment. This is all temporary, all of it. He gulped, Because what else is there to do when faced with the cold, hard truth that you're just a bystander in your own demise? 8 dead monsters, all mangled, each one a testament to something far more terrifying than the scavengers themselves. The darkness, once a comforting shroud, now felt like a suffocating blanket. Because, you see, the universe doesn't care about your comfort. It just is. And it's probably coming for you next. Sunny shivered. He thought things were bad before. Oh, sweet summer child, things always get worse. The only constant is decline. Should he return to Neph and Cassie, hope for the best, with his fated attribute, that's just a direct invitation for the universe to laugh in his face. So he gritted his teeth, because what else is there to do but walk towards the inevitable? The only prize here is time, and time runs out. And there it was. Right beneath him, a dark silhouette, much larger than the scavengers, with jagged spikes and bone scythes for arms. Crimson and black, like ancient armor splattered with fresh blood. The killer. One of those things they saw effortlessly carving through hordes of scavengers, dismissing sleepers as if they were dust. Sunny froze, stopped breathing. A fleeting moment of non-existence, a brief taste of the void. He managed to retreat, carefully, stealthily. The monster remained oblivious. Congratulations, you survived. For now, until you don't. He returned to the girls, a false sense of security settling in. Misery loves company, but it doesn't make the misery less. He reported the situation. 8 dead scavengers, the killer an awakened monster with scythes. And Nephis, ever the pragmatist, her eyes igniting like 2 white sparks, whispered, "An awakened monster," as if it were a grocery list item. Sunny, bewildered, asked what they should do. Her answer, delivered with chilling conviction? Kill it. Naturally, Sunny called her nuts. A perfectly valid question, a sensible question, which means it will be ignored. This is a Xiangxia novel after all. Logic is for the weak. They are mere sleepers. They shouldn't even be able to reliably kill a single scavenger, let alone an awakened monster that just face-slapped 8 of them. But Nephis sighed, as if explaining basic physics to a particularly dim-witted rock. We are abnormal. Ah yes, the special snowflake argument. Abnormal means you just get to die in more interesting, more painful ways. She pointed out their advantages, Sunny herself, his echo, and a surprise attack. We might die. But there's a good chance that we won't. Such reassurance. We don't have a choice, the classic line, because there never is, only the illusion of one, fight and die or hide and die later. Such options. Then Cassie, the quiet one, offered their ultimate advantage. We are intelligent, and the monster is not. The ultimate delusion. As if intelligence matters against a cosmic horror that exists solely to rend and tear. So, the fight with the bone scythe monster was inevitable. Sunny stood there, grim and somber, gripping his azure blade. The ominous feeling he had before, now stronger than ever. Because it doesn't matter. It never did. He raised his hand. Towards what, exactly? His own demise? Who knows? Does it even matter? Or what do you think? Will their abnormality truly be enough? Or is this just another step towards the void?